don't give up.
Don't give up.
Well, nothing in the world takes the place of persistence. It is required. That's not my quote. I think that's Calvin Coolidge that said that, but you gotta have persistence, and to make persistence more in place, we need to support each other.
Start small. Don't jump in feet first and think you're going to go out and plant 1,000 Christmas trees, which is what we, of course, have planned on in the first year, and that you're going to be able to market those successfully as soon as they're ready to go. And for other growers too, start small, learn lessons. There's a lot to know about marketing that and sale of vegetables. You can grow more vegetables than you can sell pretty easily. Just learned that lesson pretty quickly. And there's so much good information about how to grow things that you can probably get bigger than you should, faster than you should, and find out financially it doesn't work. So I would say start small, grow as your market and your reputation begin to grow, and make sure you've got other sources of income while you're getting this started.
You know, we started with vegetables and we just realized our soil wasn't appropriate. So you have to keep trying different things to see what fits your farm and the assets that you have on the farm. Like we discovered maple, and Tim had to look far and wide for maple trees, but he found them. And we, for 10 years, we tried to work with horses, and it just, we're hilly and we're rocky, and it was not appropriate. So yeah, learn about your farm and try different things, see what works.
Be ready to adapt.
The number one most critical thing, and we spend every meeting on this at Brookford, for example, in Canterbury, it's manage your cash flow. I know you expected me to say something like grandiose and philosophic, but you know, you can do a lot of things without profitability. You can do a lot of things without yield. You can do a lot of things with bad weather. You can't do anything if you run out of cash. You're dead. And so I run an entrepreneurship institute. You can look it up. It's the Hirshberg Entrepreneurship Institute. And my very, very first workshop, and this is for businesses, farmer, you know, all farmers are business people, right? A lot of people don't recognize that, but I mean, the farmers recognize it. A lot of others don't. And the first thing is, if you're running out of cash, it's too late to do anything about it. You have to see it coming. And so the very first thing we do is we teach workshops on how to not run out of cash. And you can go online at the Hirshberg Entrepreneurship Institute and see my workshop. I have a very simple spreadsheet that any farmer, whether it's a 3-acre apple organic guy like I have in my quarter mile from here, or a small market garden across the lake over here, you need to learn how to not run out of cash and to see it coming. You can be the best damn farmer on earth. My wife, you know, got her master's in integrated pest management at Cornell. I mean, she's going to forget more about horticulture than I'm ever going to know, but she's dead on arrival if she doesn't properly forecast and manage her cash. So learn some business skills, come to my workshops, save yourself a lot of heartache by learning how to do that. It's quite doable. Most farmers are obviously proven, you know, most successful farmers are excellent multitaskers, right? That's the very definition of farming. But so add managing cash to your list of tasks that you're committed to. Otherwise, you won't have a farm.
Find a mentor, because the mentoring system, no matter what you're doing, is probably the best way to learn. So they can go out and make their own mistakes, but at least they don't have to replicate the same ones that have already been made. It's like, why reinvent the wheel? And mentors invented the wheel a long time ago. So if you can find somebody that has some knowledge that they're willing to share, that's probably the most important thing I can find to tell people.
You know, to anybody new, to be able to have on one side sort of a mentor, people who you trust and can see what they're doing and learn from them, but also peers that you can talk with. I think that's what new farmers would need, in addition to the finances and the work and all the science behind growing stuff, because it's discouraging at times. And so you need someone to, help you get through all that. So anyway, advice from an old white guy shrink. So
I would suggest, as I have for other people who wanted to get involved in other areas of environmental work, is as you're getting going, volunteer to help with other growers. If they need help on their operations, go and volunteer and learn some lessons from them. Hear what they have to say about what works, what doesn't work. Not all their advice is going to apply to what you're trying to do, but the more different perspectives you gain on things, the better sense you'll have of what can and can't work for you.
Yeah. Do your homework, study, work with other people, keep your eyes open. I think there's opportunities there, and it's, again, each one's going to be different. I've heard it said, and I think right, that if two farmers are doing farming exactly the same way, one of them is doing it wrong, because each one's situation is different, and you're going to be farming different than someone else for whatever reasons there are.
So the advice for new young farmers is recognize that you are the future, that the future will be sustained by a world made by hand. Don't just think about, oh, I want to grow food, it wouldn't be wonderful. Understand that you are the tip of the spear of survival and recreation of human society, people coming and living on the land and growing food. We have 2% of the population on the land now, so-called growing food, which is not true. They're just growing corn and soybeans to fatten sick animals. I'm sorry to be so negative, but that's the reality. You couldn't have a little reality in this thing, right? It's okay? All right. So what we need is 1,000 times more than that of people living on the land and growing food with their hands, a world made by hand. And they have to see that, they have to look in the mirror and understand, oh, I'm part of a vast movement all over the world of people, young people mostly, who want to grow food with their hands on the land to feed our fellow human beings.
I think the society is opening up for this. Certainly the eat local, slow foods, and the rest of this is, people are starting to feel that there are ways of cooperation rather than competition, I think, is the way we have to go. It's force doesn't work, love works. And so I think that's the directions that we have to go. And if you can love your neighbors and love your land and whatnot, it'll come back in light.